A former Marine turned class action lawyer, John E. Deaton, got interested in cryptocurrency in 2016 and then invested in Ripple coin XRP. In the year 2020, he was taken aback when the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission sued Ripple over allegations that XRP was an unregistered security. Now his effort has developed into a crusade for thousands of XRP holders. In today's video, we will talk about the latest updates on the Ripple versus SEC conflict. But before we start, make sure to enable all your notifications to our channel to keep up with all the hottest secrets in the world of XRP. The United States District Judge has denied the plea of XRP holders to intervene in the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission suit against Ripple Labs, but is promoting them to provide the court information on the case as friends of the court. The Ripple holders may view XRP differently from defendants and thus may stress different arguments, wrote Judge Annalisa Torres in her October 4 ruling. In the month of April, Rhode Island-based attorney John Deaton, on behalf of 6 Ripple investors, together referred to as Movants, filed a motion to intervene in the suit as a third-party defendant.
How can they not intervene when they witness such atrocities?
Citing their significant interest in the property at issue in the SEC's enforcement motion against Ripple for its alleged unregistered securities offering of Ripple worth over $1.38 billion US. In the same suit, the SEC also named Ripple's CEO Brad Garlinghouse and executive chairman Chris Larson as co-defendants for allegedly aiding and abetting Ripple's violations. While Ripple did not oppose the XRP holders' effort to intervene, the SEC was vehemently against it, arguing that it resulted in constitutionally and statutorily barred interference that would sow chaos in the suit. Movants and defendants possess an identity of interest as they share the identical ultimate objective, Torres said. Both Movants and defendants need the same outcome, particularly XRP now being traded is not a security. The Ripple holders will not be permitted to present evidence, but shall be permitted to assist the court by briefing legal issues relevant to the case as approved in advance by the court, Torres added. The suit is being closely watched by cryptocurrency companies and investors worldwide for its far-reaching implications on other tokens, which might be deemed securities in violation of U.S. law. Ripple also argued that it did not receive fair notice that the SEC would treat XRP differently from Bitcoin and Ethereum, 2 cryptocurrencies that former SEC Director William Hinman had declared were not securities in a speech in 2018 when he was the head of the SEC's Division of Corporate Finance. James Fallon, a defense lawyer and former federal prosecutor who often comments on this lawsuit, said in a tweet, "Court gives @John E. Deaton 1 power to brief questions of law on behalf of individual Movants. This is a great win for the #XRP community, as the interests of the individual Movants and the #XRP community are aligned." Ripple's general counsel Stuart Alderoty also used Twitter to say, "Ripple holders have always mentioned that the SEC's lawsuit is a direct attack on them. Now, the entire thing is official." The court's ruling allows John Deaton to share his meaningful perspective to help the court reach an adequate decision. Yet another crucial and positive development. XRP, the 6th largest crypto by market value, is currently trading at $1.08 US, up over 16% in the past week.
Oh, some good news.
As to the suit agenda, attorney James K. Fallon shared an updated lawsuit agenda with design by XRP community member @Stidas. Let's now quickly look at a few of the recent updates. On October 7, Ripple was anticipated to respond to the SEC's request for a protective order relieving the SEC to answer around 30,000 requests for admission. On October 8, Ripple was due to respond to the SEC's intention to force the production of video and audio-taped recordings important to the case. The SEC complained that Ripple did a flawed search. On September 28, the lawsuit's most famous telephone conference, relating to the SEC's claim of deliberative process privilege for its documents, resulted in the judge asking for an in-camera review with her ruling on the matter that was to come in no earlier than September 28. Ripple also recently filed a revised response to the SEC's brief about the allegedly privileged documents with a revamped nature, arguing that if the SEC's deliberations are only personal opinions from the agency's officials, then these documents can't be considered as privileged information in the eyes of the law. their counsel team found that the SEC was withholding confidential information, proving that Hinman's 2018 was official policy and not a personal opinion.
They have proven this before, and they will prove it again.
No date on XRP holders. They have scored a significant win by being granted the amicus curiae status despite seeing its motion to intervene denied. This will allow John Deaton and 5 other individuals to submit briefs to the court, but no date has been set. No date on Howey. The court is due to scheduling a date to discuss further Ripple's motion to compel the SEC to answer its interrogatories on how the Howey test applies to all XRP transactions over the past 8 years. No date on a motion to strike fair notice defense. The SEC filed the motion on the grounds that a Ripple win would nullify the Howey test. No date on Garlinghouse and Larson's motion to dismiss. The individual defendants requested the dismissal of the SEC's first amended complaint. In late August, the court updated the schedule to extend fact discovery to accommodate the depositions of Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson. The deadline for expert discovery has been extended to November 12.
We have 10 hours till the deadline, so we dig in.
Ripple price has been less volatile the last 2 weeks, while other altcoins like Shiba Inu and others have more than doubled in value in less than 6 days. Interestingly, Ripple indicates a huge bullish setup, the cup and handle on the 2-week chart. The technical form includes a rounding bottom that forms a cup and a more minor U-shaped consolidation to its right side called the handle. A decisive close on top of the line connecting the peaks of the cup and handle shows a breakout and forecasts a 906% ascent, calculated by measuring the distance between the cup's lowest part and its right peak. Adding this measure to the breakout point shows a target of $15.30. However, XRP will need to slice through its 2018 all-time high at $3.32 and rally exponentially to reach a new record high at $15.30. While the technical formation indicates a double-digit target, the Relative Strength Index, or RSI, supports this scenario since it is hovering at 55, well lower than the overbought zone. Also, the inclined support line connecting the higher lows that RSI has formed since March 2, 2020, shows a positive indication of the ongoing trend. Therefore, investors can anticipate any short-term downswings to go off this 574-day-old trend line. Also, the moving average convergence divergence indicates that the MACD line is above the signal line, which indicates a bullish crossover, suggesting that the short-term bullish outlook is climbing. The histogram also shows receding orange lines, hinting at a decrease in selling pressure. If the bullish momentum continues to increase, the histograms will also reveal a bullish crossover, crediting the optimistic outlook for the remittance token. With that being said, we have come to the end of the video. We also want to let you know that this video is purely for entertainment and does not offer any financial advice. It is always best to do your wide-spectrum research before investing. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. See you soon with another video. Until then, bye!